My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
All right, you'll see the fake sun directly over the vehicle where that is moving as I'm in it. So 8:24 a.m. That's where the fake sun is remaining over the vehicle where it's parked in the morning. And that is at 325 West G Street, where the people of the state are engaging in what is terrorism and harassment while they engage in demonic activity, and they being the third party that's operating the vehicle that I'm inside of. The same third party stalking with the Ontario Police Department by helicopter last night. And this is that unlawful threat posed by a third party that is repeatedly engaged in this abuse in this demonic manner with the state of California, and doing so with knowledge of the fact that they're being documented. So you have a third party that crosses path, and I'm being accosted with directed light while you see this third party, which I capture in images and operation of their communication device, and I'm capturing the fake sun, and this is the specific environment where they're engaging in that directed light conduct, which is, again, terrorism and a sex offense, touching me, and then engaging in what is also terrorism while demons engage in this conduct while looking the opposite direction. That's a psychopath, okay? It is currently 8:25 a.m. It's Tuesday, July 19, 2022. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, Shiro's Liquor. This is the venue. Again, this is going from place to place, engaging in the same conduct. This is, again, a demonic system. That's why you have the identical conduct no matter where you're going. And this is speaking to the same exact public entity practicing a satanic system. This is prosecution for what is terrorism. Omnitrans is engaged in, I'm capturing them in relevant position while I'm inside of Shiro's Liquor, license 6NPW544, standing at the register. That's the store owner. And directed light flashing all across his liquor where I'm standing at the register making a purchase. Omnitrans, this is driven by a Latino male with glasses, short haircut, license 1399976, bus 1262. Fake sun is right over me. This is the same thing that's happening in Tracy Banks' car. I'm being molested with directed light. Fake sun is directly over me, en route to this venue where it remains over me where I am. And as I leave from here, fake sun remains over me. Demons repeating the same conduct everywhere that you're going. They're engaged in surveillance, and this is prosecution for terrorism. Shiro's Liquor, fake sun is over the venue. And again, that's 6NPW544, directed light moving all across the side of the liquor store. And then you got a demon on surveillance camera that enters in with a lotto ticket in his hand. He's standing nearest the microwave. He's group stalking, and he enters right after this directed light moves all across behind the register of this liquor store owner. And again, the current time is 8:33 a.m. This directed light is speaking to what is the pattern of conduct. The pattern of conduct where you are subject to this sort of terrorizing conduct with this directed light touching all over the place in impossible manners. And then you have demons that stand around, are monitoring you, and they completely disregard it, act like it's not happening, okay? This is psychopath conduct. And that's exactly what Tracy Banks is engaging in. I'm prosecuting her because she's doing it as somebody who's blood related. That's a specific type of prosecution, showing you what psychopath. License 2446962, I believe, substantially similar. That's a motorcycle. 0155783 CED. That's the logo on that vehicle. License 6SIT348. License 8WO2571 6ALD654 9BJF298. License 8KSE904. You need to understand all of these minions are monitoring while I'm inside of the liquor store and that directed light is occurring. All right, that's massive monitoring. While I'm in that demon in Tracy Banks' car, the entity is monitoring me. And as I took images, I sought to capture what is the Ontario International Airport, accelerating at a very low elevation, seeking to get in perfect alignment with me while I'm inside of Tracy Banks' car while she's driving on Fern. And the Ontario Airport in a white commercial plane is at low elevation, flying very rapidly to get in alignment and then turning to fly south to make a U-turn, essentially. That's what they're doing. They're group stalking in a plane, all right? Getting in perfect alignment with me. The Ontario International Airport is part of the same ongoing terrorism. 6KCG 419, 6KGC 419, excuse me. Primary care, 22717K3. 18801E3, 8EJH977, 60849G2, 8EQH420, 8BAZ186. These are demons. This is the reality of their condition, and this is 2022 revealing demonic activity, which is criminal. License plate 4C61326, 90350H2, 8VOX720, 5HDA675. The Ontario Town Square townhomes, they're a part of the same criminal act. While I'm inside of the liquor store, which is in relevant position, they're monitoring. They are also monitoring with the demons who you hear with drilling in the concrete. That's a company that's creating light activity. They're in relevant position and they're monitoring. They're engaging in what is demonic, as opposed to actually being focused on engaging in actual construction that is anyway exempt or accepted from the pattern of conduct that's underway. Central Transport Trucking Company, PB14307, I believe that's the license plate on that trucking company. They're engaged in the P.O.C. All right, and Central Transport engaging in what is interstate commerce while they're engaged in monitoring with the intent to place another under surveillance. I'm referencing Title 18. Alrighty, 22063M2. This demon is a Latino male with a white t-shirt, a blue hat, and some shorts on. He's on surveillance cameras and operation of his communication devices, engaged in criminal monitoring with 6NPW544. He's literally entering inside of that liquor store and monitoring. Crossing path is what he's doing while he's engaging in whatever inside of that liquor store. He's group stalking is what he's doing. And the fake sun is right over me. I'm taking images of him crossing path, going back into that vehicle, which is crossing path again. Understand it's a form for what is pacing, because that's what he's doing. And it's absolutely unlawful conduct. And this is the conduct that will result in what is placing third parties into mental institutions, including 28755K3. Driving through the parking lot, old Latino male, glasses, gray mustache, monitoring with this demon, knows that they're being documented, engaging in terrorism with the same third party. 6NPW544 inside of Shiro's Liquor, not operating a legitimate business. Remember, Shiro's Liquor is just inside of B&G Plaza. Andy's Burgers is monitoring. Oscar's Barbershop, Ultra Personnel is monitoring. Clinica Medica California, they're all monitoring. All of these businesses in here. But this is the Shiro's Liquor is where I went inside of. This is where they're concentrating activity. This is where directed light is appearing inside of that venue. This is where minions are pacing all around. This is where they're concentrating activity. All right, and so I want to be clear. It's beyond Shiro's Liquor, but I'm going to specifically prosecute. I'm subject to it inside of that venue. But the people of the state in general, they're all in relevant position. They're monitoring together. 7GEJ051. Alrighty, and this is P.O.C. So this third party, as I stated, he walks into Shiro's Liquor, and he's in operation of his communication device. He's engaging in what is demonic pacing in doing so. This is terrorism. I'm going to show you the fake sun over me, where you have no legal argument in that specific environment, engaging in whatever activity or whatever it is that you are engaging in. It's proof of presence, and presence is criminal, and there is no exception for it. It's presence on behalf of the state. So I want to let you know what this demon does. 22063M2. This demon drops out 2 cans and runs over them. This is a means of audible activity while he knows he's being documented. Want to be clear, that's intentional, that's impunity. Directed light across Shiro's Liquor, 22063M2. This is federal prison, okay? 7JGS071. And directed light is across the Shiro's Liquor. That's the directed light that's occurring inside of the depths of that Shiro's Liquor and possible light activity. This is a demon that's engaging in ongoing. This is what not only does these demons have no legal right and they're going to be prosecuted for, but the state of California has no legal right to communicate to your face, let alone while they're doing it unbeknownst to you, but to communicate to your face the fact that I'm going to continue monitoring you. In other words, I'm going to continue threatening your life. I'm going to continue stalking you. I'm going to continue engaging in this demented system right in your face. And I know you're documented. That's an unlawful threat. Okay, and that's exactly what he's doing. You already know the Ontario Police Department are stalking. That's why they're flying over the car. That's why they're flying over me while I'm in the shower inside of a hotel. That's why they are engaging and flying over me while I'm at any venue, including a liquor store, including a library, including the grocery store, including driving down the street, wherever I'm at. That's federal prison, and that's just, as I'm documenting and exposing what he's doing, those are the demons that belong in federal prison. And that's exactly what he does. I took a picture of these 2 Budweiser cans. This demon's bi-directed light. He knows exactly what I'm stating about him. He drops them out, then drops those cans out, runs over them. This is noise and directed light. This is a demon. This is evil who is in my face engaging in a lawful threat, and I'll put him in federal prison for that, okay? He's threatening with the people of the state. Understand how the people of the state are going to be monitored, documented for that. That includes 6 MPW 544, into whose liquor store he enters, that demon monitoring with him who is engaging in that criminal conduct, okay? Shiro's Liquor. 7 JGS 071. Directed light while this white Range Rover is engaging in pacing in the parking lot, driving in a circle. This is demonic. License plate TORR 810, which is the license plate I read the other day. This is an impermissible threat, and this is a demon. Alrighty, that is again TORR 810. Engaging in terrorism. Clinic Medica, California. All these demons are in relevant positions, standing under the fake sun. I showed you what is directed light that is occurring while demons are pacing in this parking lot, while they are parking next to this venue. And these demons, much of whom are likely not American citizens, they're going to be shipped right on out of this country. They don't have a right to be here engaging in this criminal conduct. They are not passively present, and they're also posing an impermissible threat. Many of whom who have been welcomed into this country. Federal group stalking and monitoring is immediate grounds after you serve time in federal prison and you're removed from this from this country, you're not coming back. All right, and Clinica Medica, California is a facilitating venue where this is underway. Show you the directed light where these minions are monitoring. This is impossible light. Alrighty, that's called relevant positioning, and this is why it doesn't matter what demons are doing at the facilitating venue, because that's what you're recognizing by the specific environment. They are accounting on your ignorance about the environment and the fact that they're focused on something else, and it's supposed to appear on the surfaces that, like, there's no group stalking, that nobody knows what you're talking about, you're paranoid schizophrenic, you're out of your mind, you're hallucinating, you need to be in a mental ward. That's a malicious pattern of conduct. And contrary to that P.O.C, those demons will be going to federal prison. They will be going out of this country where they belong, because you don't belong here being a demon-possessed group stalker, targeting American citizens. You're not welcome in this country. You will not be returning, but you will serve time in federal prison before you are shipped back to wherever it is that you came from. And you are also subject to what is time in mental institutions, all right? These are psychopaths, the closeted psychopaths that are seeking to engage in targeting American citizens and doing it in the most sick way with the government, on behalf of a government, all right? License 6056825, and that's why they're standing in line at Clinica Medica, California, and I'm showing you what is an upright shadow on the wall while TORR 810 is crossing path again. Okay, in directed light, and in that impossible light activity that's manifesting in the shade. Okay, they're all group stalking. Clinica Medica, California is the facilitating venue. 8XPL 747, 5HUW 602, 51847P2, and this is what Tracy Banks is doing in her car. While I'm in her car, I'm being molested by a bunch of demons who are monitoring with her. All right, license loitering again. 7JGS 7JGS 071. That's P.O.C. That is P.O.C. Alrighty, again, that's Shiro's Liquor, 6 MPW 544. I believe that third party is from Syria, if I recollect correctly. That's exactly where he's going. He's not operating a legitimate business, and it's just a matter of time. He's listening to me prosecute. I'm going to prosecute him, and that business is not going to survive, and it doesn't have a right to survive. We're going to remove it. It's not even going to survive a civil prosecution. A civil proceedings. 88292D3, 8YHK 785, 5ZHC 101. 8SJY 730, 8JEJ 123, 40FKIND, 7KBG 690, 60448J3. License 9AHD 146. Alrighty, license 8ATY 395, 9AWC 221, 8EZT 189. And I'm just mentioning that liquor store owner's place of origin, or wherever it is, even if it's not Syria. But I do believe that it's not a natural-born citizen, and this is speaking to what is deportation upon prosecution, going back to whatever country you belong in. All right, this is how you are cleaning up shop in this country. What the government is doing with the people of the state, and those that you're not even a natural born citizen, and you are literally demonstrating the fact that you don't want to be here and you do not belong here, and you are in every way the quintessential example of unworthiness to remain in this country, and you're going to be deported back to wherever you came from. 8MAF 571, license 7DXB729. And those that are from this country, you're going to lock them up. 6EQJ965, like the threats to the public that they are. Ultra personnel is that third party 8MAF 571. Directed light while they open and close their door. They're engaging in activity creation while moving their vehicle, getting out of their vehicle, and going inside of the facilitating venue where they remain engaged in surveillance, monitoring the whole time with Shiro's Liquor. Demons that are molesting me inside of that liquor store, they're monitoring. Ultra personnel, again, at 326 Hope Boulevard in Ontario, California. Not operating a legitimate business. Engaged in group stalking. 9BCW 028. (610-5JT), that's Utah. 04814L3. (43044). 8BWY 059. 8SMZ 055. 5LNU 598. 8ETX 903. Understand this is impunity. Every demon I'm reading. 8786. I'm sorry. 81786S1, I believe. 6SGP 854. 7BMW 411. 24178D2. 15242L2. 8ZTB 573. These demons are stalking on behalf of a police department that's flying over me where I'm inside of a vehicle parked on the street at nightfall where I'm sleeping. They're stalking on behalf of that police department. This is impunity. License 7DFV006. This is not traffic. This is group stalking. License 429MPK. And they want to continue stalking on behalf of that police department. That's federal prison. 6ZJG937. That's where we're at in this analysis. The people of the state are fully engaged in stalking all day, all night. And the established obsessive stalking by that police department is direct evidence against the people of the state. Literally, as I'm reading license plates, under this fact pattern that I've exposed, they're going to federal prison. They're going to serve time in federal prison. This is activity creation, Ontario Town Square Town Hall. This is a demon that's maintaining activity in a specific environment. Engaging in grounds work is activity creation. While minions are in relevant position, monitoring in the specific environment, group stalking at the traffic light. Okay? Under the fake sun that's over me at the traffic light. That's P.O.C. I hope you're willing to go to federal prison for it, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening, Satan. Vitco Foods, creating activity, light activity. 588-7701, I believe. Vitco Foods is readily identifiable as a company, though. They're at the corner of Andy's Burgers, Hope Boulevard, and Plum. 8MBU 106, and the fake sun is directly over me, moving as I move. So no longer over Shiro's Liquor. All right, so I'm just speaking to you. You already know this, but I'm just narrating it in real time. While demons that are going to federal prison, license plate 6YCP837, that little shiny face, big nose minion. Lily White minion, who is group stalking, she's going to serve time in federal prison. 6ZLM984. This is how that demon-possessed agency, the Ontario Police Department, who have no right under the law whatsoever to engage in the stalking and monitoring system that they are engaging in and facilitating, and they're doing it through the people of the state. And altogether, it's demonic, all right? So this is the prosecution of what is a disbanded police department, because that's what the Ontario Police Department is, all right? They're just hanging on a string. They're just waiting for me to make an example of them in a federal court. That's all. That's what you are witnessing here. They are already done, all right? And they're doing it with the people of the state. I'm going to prosecute these minions. 7GUC 724, because what you're going to learn is under federal law, you're going to teach Satan. This is necessary. Not just as a matter of justice for the target individual. You are teaching the criminal. You are deterring the system. You engage in this, you will serve time in federal prison, and you will not get out of it. There is no getting out of for federal group stalking and monitoring. Federal group stalking and monitoring is a threat to the life of an American citizen. All right, but for exposure, but for a means to prosecute, this is where American citizens come up missing. If they don't take their own life, and you'll never know the truth as to what happened around it. They are killed somewhat by a group stalker, and you'll never know about it. They are kidnapped somewhere as a matter of injustice by this entity that's group stalking them, and you'll never know about it. No, I don't think so. You're going to serve time in federal prison. This is not anything small whatsoever. It's very serious, while the people of the state are just racking up time in federal prison, and every single last one of them. I mean it. You're going to federal prison. 8XAJ427, 8XHK997. 7KMT006. 4NHC969. 467DY handicap. 6BSS976. 70R843. That's Ontario Town Square Townhomes, again, maintaining audible activity at that property. 6YMK104. Residential properties have property management companies. They have offices where personnel on the grounds. Anybody that they're hiring as third-party vendors, I don't care what their schedule is. In other words, what I'm saying is the reason why I don't care is because you could have brought somebody at the drop of a dime today to come and mow your lawn, to come and empty your move your furniture, whatever it is that they're doing with regard to the elements of monitoring. Or it could have been scheduled for weeks. It could have been something that you've been doing habitually for a prolonged pattern. It's occurring in this specific environment. You don't have a legal argument. All right. So I want to be clear on that. That's why I don't care, because it doesn't matter. It's serving the pattern of conduct. It's demonic activity. It's facilitation. You don't have a legal argument for in any way facilitating the state's system of surveillance and terrorism. Duh. You don't have a legal argument out of threatening somebody else's life. Okay, that's the wake-up call that Satan is getting. 7MUE916, and that's why you have what is directed light. This is also why you silence Satan. You capture that directed light while you want to claim, oh, I mow the lawn every Tuesday at 9:02 a.m. While the sun happens to be directly over the target individual or that audible activity is being created. Understand that. That's why there's no legal argument. Metro 102, driving in directed light. License 8FPA873. This is a lily white, fat-faced minion with glasses, engaging in what is impunity. Doing so, stalking with activity, this demon that's engaged in surveillance in that parking garage. She drives out into this directed light, impossible light activity that's just sitting in the shade in the middle of the street. And doing so while she knows she's being documented. Again, that's relevant to the time that she will spend in federal prison. All right? Just come on out. Come on out. Got another one, Metro 102. This is where the entity is keeping a fake sun at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening, as though the sun is setting. These are demons at Metro 102 apartments. License 7WGW394, sitting in the parking garage waiting for moments to drive out. That's what they're doing. 8MKN815, and they're all molesting together. That one's not from Metro 102. That one's driving down the street on Plum. Group stalking. Demons coming out of the parking garage, many of whom I've already documented. I walked through that whole parking garage, reading a whole bunch of minions' license plates, showed you what is impossible light activity inside of that parking garage, documenting the fake sun directly over my head at the entrance. That's the pattern. At the entrance of Walmart over my head, at the entrance of Target in Montclair over my head, at the entrance of Montclair Plaza in Montclair over my head. Montclair Plaza is the mall. At the entrance of Walmart in Glendora over my head. At the entrance of Walmart in Upland, California over my head. All right. At the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library in Ontario at all times of the day over my head. All right, this is the entity that's engaging in that pattern, keeping a fake sun over me. And that's the same at Metro 102 apartments, where demons reside in relevant position. Every time I'm documenting the entity stalking me by helicopter, I'm documenting that whole community, which is a demon-possessed entity engaging in state surveillance. That's serving for what is a massive means of documenting criminal conduct that a targeted individual does not have a right to be subject to. And you're not hiding while you live in relevant position. It's a very easy means of documenting you. 7ZTZ423, AWCX867, 39228U1, 9APD117. They're monitoring with these demons that are molesting me with directed light, because I'm at the Ontario City Hall, which is in relevant position. Everything that I documented inside of Showers Liquor, they're in relevant position. The Ontario City Hall is a group stalker. They're filled with demons, in other words, engaging in what is criminal conduct in positions that they have no business in. This is public corruption that the city, the municipality itself is engaging in. And while I am documenting terrorism, directed light, molestation, a sex offender that's demon possessed that's touching you while they're placing you under surveillance with directed light, the Ontario City Hall is engaged in it. All right, stalking in the parking lot. License 7DXG120. This is Satan that wants to drive right next to me under the fake sun and directed light while they're listening to me recite the criminal conduct. 9APD 117, 8NYF289, 8UZS412, 8KIR698, 8TSJ840, 8SYG883, 1469611, 4KLJ446. 8RKT587, 7HDH892, 8FJD166, 7VXU590, 6STS697, 8VPD021, 5NHY183. You like to touch people, huh, Satan? Alrighty, this chubby minion, fat face, tacky. demon-possessed group stalker with license plate. Let's see. 7DXG120. She's group stalking, walking into the Ontario City Hall, and this is a demon that's molesting me with directed light while she's engaged in that group stalking conduct. And she's group stalking while she remains in relevant position. So understand the system that's underway. While I go to the site of the Open Family Community Library, which is where the entity is going to cease movement of the fake son and keep it there, as opposed to being anywhere near what is over the Motel 6 hotel room where I'm at, over the building, as I captured yesterday, after 11 o'clock. That's where the entity kept the fake son, which is where the entity kept that fake sun, setting it as though the sun was also setting at that Motel 6. And you're remembering, I was there in the morning at 10:29 a.m. at Golden Corral, which is adjacent to that same Motel 6 on 4th Street in Ontario. The fake sun is over me while I'm at that restaurant, over my head, at the entrance, over my head, just like that's the pattern. All right, the entity kept that fake sun at that same address. Motel 6 is right next to that Golden Corral in that shopping center. The entity is engaging, keeping that fake sun over me at this venue where this third party is crossing path. Again, that's 7DXG120, and I'm specifically criticizing Satan, who is inferior and stalking me. That's why I described her as a little stumpy, fat-faced minion, and her pants are too tight, she can't even walk while she stalks away. That's what she should be concerned with. All right, but Satan is too concerned with me. 98316F3, 4WEV621, 8XBK107, AJ55404, and in turn, that's very tacky. That's why she's getting called it. But I'm speaking the truth. License plate 7HRY535, 9ARF444, 6VNU790, FP136794. And I read this one the other day. I wanted to say yesterday, but it was perhaps the day before yesterday, but a couple of days ago nonetheless, the same parking lot. This is Illinois, license 136794, and the small characters are FP. So I want to be clear, the entity that's engaged in state surveillance, they don't have a right to report to work every day. And you're going to be prosecuted for what's the impermissible threat. And these are the repercussions of engaging in stalking on behalf of the state. Your work schedule, because that's supposed to be your form for thinking that no one's ever going to know what you're doing, this system of public corruption, you don't have a right to engage in that. And you're going to be prosecuted as engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking. Just like any other creeper hiding outside of your house every night, day and night, while they also know that you're documenting it in order to prosecute them, and they are still stalking, and they're following you into bathrooms, and they're harassing you with the police, and they're engaging in all manner of weird conduct, flying over your house. If your stalker has access to a plane, this stalker that I have does. It's the state of California, 70LP314. And you don't have a legal argument where you're reporting to work in relevant position. And that's what I'm documenting while I'm reading the same license plates over and over and over again. These are facilitating venues engaged in state surveillance, and they're going to be prosecuted for it civilly and criminally. 7BKR538, 8RIA909, 37354L2. That's a commercial actor, ACCI. All right, 8URR533. Let me read you this demon's license plate that's pacing. There you go. That's the Ontario Airport monitoring with 7HRY534. That's a demon-possessed third-party group stalker pacing back and forth. She didn't forget anything from her car. She parks it, walks away from it, walks back to it, opens the trunk, creating light activity, audible activity, walking back and forth, doing so in concert with the Ontario International Airport. That's the P.O.C. 7MXP852. And if that one is not a natural-born citizen, ship them out. We have enough minions in this country, all right, to alleviate who are going to be going to federal prison and mental institutions, deport them out the country. And they're not coming back. 5LPH072, you're not returning. You're not welcome. 7JXR318, 6CKM112, 7PQR209, LIZJELI, 8NMH949, 7KZL796, 5WWM494, 6FYZ871, 8ZVE256. 98316F3, in case I didn't read that one. That demon's in the parking lot monitoring with the Ontario Airport, creating activity, creating audible activity using their vehicle, walking to their vehicle, walking back. These are demons pacing around in the engineer light while the Ontario International Airport is pacing in the sky space over me. 5ZRW490, 8XNT939, 8UEM591, 8CKX233, 6WXG851, 7GQL610, 8UAE491, 7KTW830, 5EZM554, 7ZCY953, 7SHJ134, ED152 handicap. You're looking at that group stalker crossing path, okay? And she's old as dirt, all right? Liver spots, turkey neck, wrinkles, everything, okay? Knocking on the door of death, in other words. It's no exception to the P.O.C. You're not going to be distracted by the vessel that Satan is using. because that's the exact pattern of conduct, and all the entity needs is presence. 7WIG 756. And if you'll understand what demonic activity is, all Satan needs is presence. All he needs is a body, in other words. It's analogous when you're understanding both demonic conduct and this system of group stalking. It's vicarious. You're present on behalf of Satan. You're engaging in what is demonic conduct. This is Satan that is using people. This is the state that's using third parties. Understand that analogy right there, because this is the reality. It's tethering both of those realizations of what is demonic and also what is group stalking. And group stalking is demonic activity. Anyway, it's currently 9 a.m. on the dot. The entity keeping that fake sun over me, which is remaining on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library, where the entity is keeping the fake sun for the duration of the day. Because under no circumstances would the sun be at the same address as I'm clearly able to capture it at 6:19 p.m., where that Ontario Police Department, that entirely corrupt and absolutely zero credibility. They have zero credibility, all right? In other words, you have already prosecuted them on the world stage, which is very relevant. When you're, this is relevant. Yes, we engage in what is, a prosecution in the form of a tribunal. I understand that. That's not what I'm saying. But this is speaking to what an American citizen has exposed already. You're talking about what is an afterthought, doing it officially in a federal court, because that's where it's going to happen. But they are already established as a criminal. They have no legitimacy. Everything that they are doing is tainted by and there is nothing that they can do that is in any way other than what is a pattern of conduct, as I've shown you. And it's also unreasonable to suggest that that is the case. You don't have any basis of any credibility. You are an obsessed stalker, and doing so in an unprecedented manner, revealing what is your secret. They're minions of Satan. All right. And so are the people of the state in that same exact environment. That is revealing what is public corruption that's occurring in the state of California. And like I said, it's not just occurring in Ontario. It's not just occurring in San Bernardino County. It's obviously, I was in Los Angeles too, documenting this and subject to this. I was in Orange County, and I was subject to this. This is the state of California's criminal system. And it's revealing what's on a larger scale, because group stalking is demonic. And I've shown you how that is the case. I've shown you what are the lies, the fallacies, the illusions that exist with regard to even the environment that we're in, which is where group stalking is occurring. It's speaking to what's happening in the state of California, but even larger than that, it's speaking to what's going on in this country. The country is not the center of the universe. This is talking about what's going on in the world. All right. There's a reason why you were told about how this supposed sun operates. My documentation in and of itself, which you can see with your own eyes, that's a lie. The sun would never be present at the same address, 215 E.C. Street, at 6:40 p.m., 6:19 p.m., where the entity also happens to be engaged in what is unprecedented methods of stalking, where I am present here right now at 9 o'clock, but I've been here even earlier than that. You're talking about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Where's the sun going? How is it ever in Northern California? It's not. It's a lie. All right, and that is something, that is documentation that is irreconcilable. That is something that you cannot deny. But let me be clear, but for documentation, this is the unjust system in operation. The targeted individual not armed with that documentation is subject to defamation, is subject to kidnapping, and it is entirely unjust. And based on that system that is designed in that way deliberately by a malicious entity, and I'm referencing the public entity, this is the pattern of conduct. Criminal obstruction of justice is the pattern of conduct. Okay? It is also that which is designed by Satan itself. It's evil. Okay. And it's designed that way. It's done in the P.O.C. occurs in methods that are unbelievable, unfathomable, something that and there is no other way that anyone would listen but for documentation. And I understand that. And I also despise it, because I'm advocating on behalf of the target individual. And I have seen, as I've been subject to, obviously, but I can empathize with what they are engaged with, what they are subject to, the evil that they're faced with. And that's what's enraging. All right. That's who's that is the person on whose behalf I'm advocating. Okay, because I'm sitting here and it's happening to me because the world needs to know what the truth is, what the reality of what's going on in this country and in this world is. And in the U.S., there are a body of laws where this conduct out of the pit of hell is absolutely unlawful. And you can create law to address what is designed to never even be capable of being proven that it's happening. All right. And all of that is water under the bridge. I've shown you what's directed like demonic activity. I've shown you what is this fake sun, demonic activity, a whole fallacy, a whole illusion with regard to the environment that this demonic system is occurring in. Let me be clear, that has implications to your very life, to whatever it is your belief system is, because it doesn't matter what you believe. You need to look up in the sky and understand scientific facts are going to likely have an impact on what it is that you believe or who you believe, because regardless of what you believe, I'm not actually trying to destroy anybody's religious system. Actually, And telling the truth is not the destruction. It's not therefore the destruction of your personal belief system, but you need to know the truth. And whatever it is that you may believe in, where there are lies, that's relevant to what you may or may continue to believe in, all right, such as religion. And you fill in the blank with whatever type of religion. Religion is nothing but a form of blinding you, all right? And a lot of it is based on untruths. And the truth of the matter is, with regard to group stalking, with regard to this environment, with regard to life, the world that we're in, there's a reason why you are conditioned in that way. There's a reason for it. It's a specific reason. Religion is a means of oppression, in other words. I just want to be clear on that. And religion, I'm not talking about spirituality. And let me be clear, there are also different kinds of spirituality. Spiritual darkness, that's what these minions are doing. That's not healthy either. Spirituality is distinct from religion, which is a form of oppression, a form of keeping you blind, handicapped, okay? And I just want to be clear, as one that was subject to that, while maintaining my spirituality, but just not awakened to, all that was going on, okay? And then upon this awakening and understanding, because whether you're blinded by a religion or not, or whatever way that an entity seeks to bind you, and now I'm not talking about the public thing, I'm talking about the demonic entity, because Satan wants to keep you blind. And I'm going to digress from here because I'm not preaching, but I just want to be clear with regard to the unjust conduct that I am revealing, that a targeted individual, because federal group stalking and monitoring has to do with your everyday life. There's a reason why you're being targeted, because you are not like the rest of these minions that bow down to Satan. And Satan is nothing to bow down to. Satan is inferior. Satan is fearful. Satan does not want you to wake up. Okay? And so you're talking, those who bow down to that, that's why you're being targeted. It's out of envy. It's out of jealousy. It's out of a disdain for their own existence, for their own inferiority. And I'm not speaking about some superiority that's born of some ego mania. That's not what I'm talking about. Just the person that you are on the inside, all right? The type of person that you are, the things that you cannot buy, all right? The things that you cannot duplicate. So the things that you cannot mimic. So I want to be clear, even the fact of surrounding Satan with what is the ability to articulate what this demonic activity is. Let me be clear, Satan despises that, hates it, okay? Every single last minion that's being documented in ways that they never thought was going to be the case. Serving time in federal prison for what you thought was just going to be some little voodoo trickery that nobody's ever going to be able to prove that you're doing, and that's not what's going on. You're going to sit behind federal bars. You're going to find yourself in a straitjacket like the psychopath that you are, because that's where you belong. And it's not a secret. It also needs to be known across the globe what you are and what you're doing and the methods that are employed, which are entirely demented. And you can translate this in whatever country that you're at, because wherever you are, you have a human right to not be subject to what Satan is doing amongst governments and amongst people. All right. And it is serving for what is a system of a public corruption, because Satan doesn't want to be out in your face in plain sight. Satan wants to absorb, wants to fit in, wants to subtly have a ginormous, I'm making up a word there, impact on the people, but while seeking to do it in a way that you're not. So it's in your face, even though you don't even see it right in your face. That's what public corruption is by definition, by the way. It is hiding in plain sight. It's right in your face. Okay, the fake sun is right over your head day in and day out. Pay attention. Alrighty. So anyway, this is the entity. While I'm standing on the side, the entity that I documented, the same demon-possessed public agents. Law enforcement agency is monitoring while demons are driving on C Street. I'm standing in the depths of on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library. This is the shade underneath the side, and demons that are stalking me. Okay, that are monitoring me. I want to be clear. This is speaking to what Wells Fargo is doing. This is speaking to what T-Mobile, the RIA Money Transfer, Money Express, the 150 East Hope Boulevard, San Bernardino County, that venue. This is speaking to what Dollar Express is engaging in, and I'm just naming all the venues that are in relevant position. The United States Postal Service at 123 West Hope Boulevard. The B&G Plaza is still monitoring after I have physically left. They remain in relevant position. Obviously, these demons at 280 North Lemon Apartments, the Ontario Senior Center, the Ontario City Hall, Laverne College of Law. All right. This is speaking to what they're all engaging in. They're all monitoring. There are a bunch of demons that are engaging in criminal monitoring. And that's why flashing directed light is occurring on the side of this column in the shade where I stand here speaking the truth to you. Okay. That's why. And that's why the fake sun is over me in a way, in a location for a duration of time. All of this is relevant to what's impossible. This is a cartoon environment. These are demons. Okay. It is currently 9:09 a.m. And the bottom line of what I'm speaking to is this criminal pattern of conduct underway by an entity that's fully surrounded with evidence. And so under this fact pattern, where the entity has engaged in the multiple acts of kidnapping and the multiple acts of defamation, engaging in the prolonged pattern of conduct. And again, why is it's prolonged? Because I'm establishing precedent. I'm establishing precedent because there will never, ever be a question as to whether group stalking is real. And those that speak that, those are the minions that they always were, okay? Because I said that at the beginning when I began publishing via podcast onto the internet, and seeing Satan, just lying on the internet, just lying, hostile minions, speaking on what they don't even have. First of all, if you're not group stalking, if you're not over here, in other words, in relevant position, group stalking physically, why are you on the video of the internet speaking about what someone else's reality is? You don't even know what they're going through, and you're rendering some sort of diagnosis from a distance. In every single way, it's preposterous what minions are doing. And I want to be clear, those are the same demon-possessed minions that just get on the internet seeking to obstruct justice, serving the state's pattern of conduct. It's as simple as that. But this is serving what is federal law, and the necessary construct shall be that where you're in any way interfering with that legal process, engaging in that, which is the state's P.O.C. The state wants to defame you, but this is speaking to the precedent that I established. Group stalking is real, so you can lie all you want. This is what is already shown. Group stalking is real. Minions of Satan, spiritual darkness is real, okay? And they tend to engage in monitoring, harassing, targeting those who are not of that same condition, who are not plagued by spiritual darkness, who do not bow down to Satan. And this is a criminal system, okay? And it's a population. It's not just an exception, not just one or two of them. This is occurring where it's a matter of what's going on in society. These are minions that are targeting somebody, and it's occurring in the U.S. There's a body of laws to protect that American citizen, constitutional laws, and you just have a basic right as a matter of what is human rights to not be subject to it. All right. And this is what the documentation that I have published. This is what serves, and it's necessary as one subject to it. And I'm witnessing and I am empathizing with the ordinary target individual that does not have the skill set, does not have the documentation. And even if you are capturing, what do you call light that's just flashing all over? What do you call that? It's entirely terrorizing. It's entirely sick. It's sick. It is out of the pit of hell. All right, this stuff that's touching all over you, all over the place. And then you're looking at what's occurring. Well, it's occurring while all these people are around me, but they're all looking the opposite direction, acting like it's not happening. That's terrorizing in multiple ways. This is what Satan is doing. You're going to create very real laws to deal with that. And you're going to place those very sick individuals that are acting collectively to target someone. They're going to sit in federal prison. They're going to sit in mental institutions, and that's where they belong, based on what they are doing. Okay? That's where they belong. That's sick conduct. That's demented. That's entirely abnormal. Okay. So anyway, it is Tuesday, July 19, 2022. It's currently 9:13 a.m. The fake sun's remaining on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library. And this is where the entity is keeping the fake sun for the duration of the day. And this is, as I spoke to, where the Ontario Police Department are stalking by helicopter, where I'm in the car getting ready to cover up the windows because that's where I'm sleeping at night. And this is exactly what the stalker knows. The entity is stalking all day long at the library. It's not taking a pause. They're stalking all day long in the library, surrounding the library. Satan is an obsessed stalker. Okay? And they're sitting around in a library. This is why they belong in mental institutions. Who does that? Why don't you have something else to do with your life? What are you doing? Okay, Satan is engaging in what is a very real, diligent agenda to keep me surrounded at all times. And while they do that, while I capture images of them, while they are literally easily documented by their work schedule, because you don't have a legal argument, you don't have any grounds to avoid what's going to be a prosecution revealing the demon-possessed third-party group stalker you are, which is in a federal court brings directly into relevance your mind state, the threat that you are to the public, engaging in this criminal system. All right, that's necessary as a matter of justice. The group stalker is a closeted psychopath. They're narcissists. All right, they're targeting people. Or they are ticking time bombs, and you're going to address that. And it's also relevant to what it is that the target individual has documented about their criminal conduct as they've been subject to it. All right, so this is where the entity is stalking all day long at the library where I remain. That's all they're doing. That's why a fake sun is remaining over the address all day long. A bunch of obsessed minions. All right, and so this is P.O.C. at the Ovid Family Community Library. It's 9:14 a.m. Okay, engaged in criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department, who's loitering in front of the same parking garage as I documented days ago, where the fake sun was not over the side, it was over the center of the front of the library. The Ontario Fire Department using their sirens and lights. This is demonic conduct, while the airport using planes flying over the senior citizen apartment complex next to me. License 7LNZ948-9909183. That's FSA Family Service Association engaging in, again, criminal summoning again. I documented them at the senior center. That's the same commercial actor. 4PZV843. That's a demon using their horn, stalking with audible activity. 7WHB833. This is federal prison. They're engaged in criminal summoning with the fire department. And the Ontario airport, as you hear. 8WPF442. 5756683. 6NXM031. Engaged in surveillance, sitting in their vehicle. This is a license plate. 8E94434, 6KKN604, 8ZOE705, 8CGF595. And the Ontario Fire Department, again, while they're engaged in criminal summoning, the demons inside of the Ovitt Family Community Library pacing inside where I'm beside the library. This is very demonic what they're doing. 7JVF785. And they're all engaged in what is molesting. As I'm documenting, speaking to flashing directed light, that's what those demons in the Ontario Fire Department are engaging in. While they are stalking in perfect alignment with the side of the library where I'm seated, using that fire truck as light activity, they're engaging in ongoing molestation, which is harassment by demons with this directed light conduct. 8NTH771, 7CKJ489, 5CEY470, 20585P2, 53807E2, GB647, handicap. Sitting engaged in surveillance. These demons engaged in relevant positioning. They're engaged in surveillance with the fire department, while the airport is using planes. The fire department is using their fire truck. This is P.O.C. All right, they're sitting in a parking garage engaged in surveillance. And if they're not natural-born citizens, you're going to ship them back to whatever country they came from while they're over here monitoring. These are Asians in 9BOR061. In operation of their communication device, in directed light, under the fake sun, planes flying over me, fire department stalking with light activity. 041ZXA is the Nevada plate. This is an older Asian woman. All right, and this African-American male with a red hat on. They're group stalking by sitting at the charger stations inside of the parking garage where a fake sun remains all day long. CD55E05 paper plate. And they're engaged in the criminal act of what is criminal summoning. This is a massive means of facilitation, a specific method of the pattern of conduct where the entity uses sirens, uses the demons of the state fire departments, ambulances, police vehicles to engage in what are the elements of monitoring. And you go to federal prison for that, 8JID449. You also go to federal prison where you are posing an impermissible threat. They know they're being documented. 5CCB286. You're looking at an image of a demon. He's walking to that vehicle with that license plate, and directed light flashes on the wall while he's doing so. He's group stalking. License plate 8VPB018, 7LNZ948. (6AFE535), 7EZU450, 7UXN283, 8SSN264, 5PFJ414, 8SQF843, 8PDC239, 8GYE330, 8CNZ478, and Wells Fargo. This is the venue where the fire truck is in relevant position to that venue. Wells Fargo is a part, in other words, of the same molestation, the same terrorism, the ssame criminal summoning. The fire department is license plate 1332569. And they're facilitating venues at 425 East B Street where there is no sun ever going to be over that venue. They are engaging in a pattern of conduct, and they're using a fire truck to engage in the elements of monitoring. And I'll show you the fake sun right here. Alrighty, that is 04501X2, engaged in criminal summoning. Everybody inside of Wells Fargo, down to the demon-possessed security guard, engaged in criminal summoning right now. 7TKV048, 8YJG347, 7CTD312, 5CCB286, 8FDB493, 7HSD994, excuse me, 8ANY889, 7H, where's that one already? 7KGF443. Omnitrans engaged in relevant positioning. They're monitoring license 8SSF409, 5FUS 621, 7WPJ 415, 8USM 073, 7HDP 448, 4PRX 162, 7TWU 831. Those are demons engaged in criminal summoning and also directed light flashing across 240 Euclid Avenue, Wells Fargo. Monitoring. It is currently 10:10 a.m. 7CTD312 is crossing path. All right, and this aged old couple engaging in what is molestation, terrorism, group stalking, criminal summoning, and they will sit their old selves in federal prison too. All right, you're not going to be exempt from the punishment for engaging in this terrorism and state surveillance because you're old as dirt. 7LNZ948. Stalking with audible activity creation. Let me get a close up of Satan. There we go. P.O.C. And again, that's 7LNZ948, honking his horn for no reason. You want to know why they're honking their horn? They're maintaining audible activity. And they're also scared while I'm documenting them. But it's activity creation, all right? There's nobody in front. There's nobody in traffic. He's honking in their horn while I am walking behind their vehicle. It's a method of audible activity creation. And they know that they're being documented, all right? That's harassment. The state in every way harassing and monitoring you, doing so obsessively while you are documenting. This is the state that's harassing you continuously, demonstrating an ongoing determination to further threaten your life while the fire department is right here. That's the P.O.C. Directed light across 280 North Lemon Apartments, as I've shown you on video. All right, the fake sun and directed light while demons are driving by, that's what they're doing now while the fire department is here creating light activity. That's a demon using a fire truck. All right, demons in positions that they have no business in. This is what you're addressing as I'm prosecuting the entity. 6SYS646. 6YPF 906. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. and it is currently 10:11 a.m. and as I walk to the Wells Fargo, as I walk into the parking garage, the fake sun moves as I move, which is not the sun that will remain present over the same venue at the end of the day either, which I've shown all of that. So this is indeed the pattern of conduct. And this is what the minions inside of Oakland Family Community Library are participating in while they know that they're being documented. That's why they're going to federal prison. 3CGR470. And these demons that are pacing around, these are the ones that are also monitoring while my panties are down in the bathroom where they know where I'm at. Okay, the same minion, that old Latino male driving the FSA Family Service Association, pacing around, directed light. Okay, 3CGR470, pacing around. It's P.O.C. You have Jessica and Mickey at the circulation desk. These are the demons that are pacing in the business and copy center adjacent to me while I'm sitting on the side. The airport's flying directly over next to the senior citizen apartments. Directed light is flashing on that side of that walkway. The fire department is in perfect alignment with that walkway with light activity, and the entity is using sirens, okay? This is P.O.C. and those minions are in relevant position. You also have the other desk. Minion's not sitting there now, but I document throughout the day. This is P.O.C. inside of the Oakland Family Community Library. They're all pacing around with multiple shadows, engaging in ongoing monitoring. The fire department is, again, monitoring while demons are inside of any venue. The pattern of conduct continues, and you have directed light on the staircase where I've shown the entity keeps directed light all day long. This is P.O.C. Jessica? Hi. Mickey? Good morning. This is P.O.C. All right, monitoring in the bathroom is you have this third party sitting at the desk. Good morning. Oh, I'll wait till you're done. Sorry. No problem. Clearing her communication device while she walks by with another third party, which is a means of crossing path. Oh, I have a question. While they're walking in directed light, walking toward the desk and then walking back together, this is pacing. And they're all monitoring while my panties are down with the fire department who's creating light activity under the fake sun in relevant position to the bathroom while they're outside at that parking garage. and they're doing so while they are pacing around around the computer. They all have multiple shadows while they're walking around, and they just finished engaging in a sex offense, surveillance in a bathroom, demons that know what you're doing physically, genitalia exposed, private activity underway. Hi. I don't think I've ever met you before. What's your name?
Myra.
Hi, Myra. I did meet you the other day. Can I get some disinfectant wipes, please? Thank you. There you go. Myra and directed light monitoring with the people of the state. Already, I'm sitting at computer number 11 where the entity is engaged in pacing all around me. Ongoing methods of audible activity, cooperating with the entity that is surrounding with planes and helicopters and fire trucks. As you see, the Ontario Fire Department, demons engaging in the system. This is P.O.C. It is currently, by the way, 10:20 a.m. and this is P.O.C. Remember the fake suns remaining over Motel 6 yesterday at this time. This is a demon that's hitting on the desk. This is demonic. That's what you're listening to. And this is the people of the state that use a child to engage in that. It's deliberate. It's occurring in directed light under what is not possibly the sun. While a demon that's not looking at me knows that I began recording, okay? That's the demonic system. It's activity creation in directed light. And this is the people of the state utilizing children to engage in that demonic conduct. That's terrorism, and that's also relevant to what it's all on surveillance cameras. Okay, I want to be clear. But this is also relevant to the ways in which you're going to prosecute the people of the state and address their terrorism and sexual violence, activity creation, criminal monitoring, in other words, with a state utilizing minors, those under the age of majority, to engage in sexual violence, to engage in terrorism, to engage in group stalking. It is, again, 10:22 a.m. where the fake sun is over, not Motel 6 at 1560 4th Street in Ontario, directly over me, directly over my room, remaining over me while I am leaving that venue. It's over the Ovid Family Community Library, which you clearly see in my documentation. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, these are the demons that are pacing around with multiple shadows, following into the bathroom. They're also monitoring documentation. These are violent sex offenders, also utilizing children to engage in that pattern of conduct. They're creating activity. They have multiple shadows in the bathroom, and they're stalking in the restroom at Ovid Family Community Library. And they're monitoring with, hi, you're Greg, right? Yeah, we also know about Securitas, Miss Sharon. She's a sex offender. She likes to monitor a lot. She's monitoring with those demons that barge into the, excuse me? Are you talking to me, Sharon? What? No, I can hear you from here. No, you didn't get me mistaken with nobody. No, you didn't. Those are minions pacing around inside of the bathroom. They're following into the bathroom. They've been pacing around all day while I'm sitting at computer 11. The demons follow into the bathroom to continue pacing around. Okay, that's the sex offender, and those are the demons. You've got, hey, Steven, Kaylin, in relevant position monitoring with those sex offenders, okay? It is currently 8:22 p.m. And this is P.O.C., the entity. They're a bunch of demons. They've been slinging shadows all day long. What do I mean by that? The impossible light activity of when you're walking where your shadow would ordinarily appear on the ground, but for demonic conduct that's underway and demon possession that's clearly demonstrated by that, there's shadows appearing, moving across me, moving across the desks. I've also shown you in video what are the multiple shadows that they have. And this is while these demons are focused on me, every move that I make, anything that I might be listening to, anything that I might be publishing online. In other words, Satan is my audience, and Satan is engaging in an ongoing method of what is both harassment, okay, with regard to that sort of conduct, but also criminal monitoring. Ceaseless monitoring, ceaseless surveillance. And what you're listening to are a bunch of demons that just grouped up in the restroom. And this is at Ovid Family Community Library. Ovid Family Community Library is a sex offender. Ovid Family Community Library is a group stalker, and they're sex offenders, and they're doing so with children. That's how I'm going to prosecute that. And they're on surveillance cameras. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, and it is currently 8:23 p.m. So I want you to hear the sex offender that is the Ontario International Airport. It's P.O.C. The entity is stalking in the bathroom on behalf of the airport that's monitoring me in a bathroom. That's the sex offender, the Ontario International Airport, that Greg and Steven and Kaylin are monitoring with. Okay, let me get this sex offender monitoring. Let me get this license. This demon that's running. 84366F2. They're a sex offender. And you already know Tracy Banks is 4WO and 432. All right. She's got a very specifically carved out prosecution awaiting for her, the type of sex offense that you're engaging in on behalf of the state, as a family member, as a relative, anybody in the personal life of the target individual. And she is here engaging in that terrorism with that airport, Ontario International Airport, stalking while the entity is invading the bathroom. That's exactly what the Ontario International Airport is doing while they are stalking by planes, which is already established as the pattern of conduct. And that's what is represented while demons are following you into bathrooms. It is currently 8:26 p.m. This is P.O.C.
That's what there's always something.
What you want to pay attention to is how the Ontario International Airport is flying over at the same time that the third party arrives to pick me up. This is the same exact pattern of conduct. It's occurring in concert. The entity is flying over by plane and my ride arrives. This is the same P.O.C. Okay? I just want you to point, I'm pointing that out to you. Pay attention to that. It is the P.O.C. Okay, P.O.C. License plate 8K87087, engage in harassment monitoring with these minions who I captured images of. While I'm standing in the parking lot, the Ontario Airport is flying over while this demon stops while I am not blocking her pathway to go through and park if that's what she wanted to do, which is what these minions that are ganging up around in the parking lot. This is the state that's surrounding around. This is the state that is monitoring, and that's the Ontario Senior Center that they go inside of at 225 East B Street. They are engaging. You know, you're blocking traffic in the parking lot. And this is not the case. This is, first of all, audible activity. Second of all, these are minions that are hostile while I'm documenting them. All right. And this is the city of Ontario wearing a staff shirt going into the senior center. This is the Latina female who was monitoring in plain sight. Fake Sun, Ontario Airport, Southwest Airlines, simultaneity of conduct and light activity while she is monitoring. And then you have a pack of minions that come out who are also monitoring. But the guise of their monitoring is harassment. So they're talking about some BS. I'm blocking traffic in a parking lot. I'm blocking traffic. I'm taking pictures of the fact that she is stopping for no reason. She stops in front of me. The moment that I start walking is when she resumes driving. I'm not blocking her at any time. She's monitoring. And second of all, even if let me point this out as well. You are monitoring in the specific environment, period. They are looking for something to distract with. All of these minions are monitoring. This is the Ontario City Hall. This is City of Ontario. These third parties whose license plate, again, that was license 1469611, City of Ontario. They're going to federal prison. All right. These are the minions that are driving around in utility vehicles, in their vans, accessing the buildings while they're engaged in state surveillance, driving around stalking in dumpster trucks while they know that they're being documented. So you have a pack of them come out of the senior center to engage in what is harassment. And they also engage in criminal defamation. This is the African-American with, she's carrying a tub, she's group stalking, she's in direct light, raising her voice is audible activity. And while she is engaging in what is harassment, she's also speaking what is criminal defamation. You need to take your meds. That's audible activity under the fake sun. And this is Satan that's lying. This is Satan she's stalking with the police. She's stalking with the fire department. She's stalking with the Ontario International Airport. And that's her audible activity. That's the entity. That's federal prison as well. 6EJH337. And these images are captured close up. They walk right into the senior center and they are going to federal prison. 8NUT911. 7GQL610, and while I'm standing in the parking lot, molesting with directed light, just like the city of Ontario was doing. But what that demon did was stopped on the side where nobody's obstructing them. And let me be clear, I'm going to stand here and document you. But this is not even an obstruction. I want to be clear, you're engaging in harassment while you're a bunch of mad minions because I'm documenting you. And that's all that they can come up with. You're blocking traffic. There is no traffic. This is a parking lot, Satan, while you are monitoring. And you're scared. That's why you are scared coming out here harassing like that. That's a terrorizing threat. Remember, I'm advocating on the part of the ordinary target individual. These are a bunch of demons that are coming out to harass you while they are in the specific environment. And everything that they are saying is legally relevant. Do not forget the Ontario International, them and the Ontario Police Department. Stalking by helicopter, that's the same police department giving audible activity to the entity. Everything that these demons are speaking while you are a whole stalker. Okay, a nappy-headed one with no hair. All right. She's a bald-headed minion who is engaging in, and she's dirt old who is stalking somebody and you're hostile about it. That's what they're engaging in. These demons that are patrolling. License plate 60014G3 4KJ1446. They're all engaged in harassment together. They're all in directed light. So I want to make sure I document that. And that's the significance of what I documented. The city of Ontario that's monitoring, and they're doing so while the Ontario International Airport, I captured all of this in pictures. They are monitoring, and then you have what are additional minions that come into the parking lot in relevant position. All right, they are employed by the City of Ontario. So I want to be clear, that's legally relevant because I'm prosecuting the entity, and I'm also speaking to the entity that is engaging in state surveillance. You're not operating a legitimate business. You're present on behalf of the state, engaged in criminal conduct, and you want to do it via harassment. 9APD 117, license AWCX 867. This is 280 North Lemon Apartments engaged in harassment. Metro 102 Apartments engaged in harassment. The Ontario City Hall, where the fake sun is over, where the airport's flying over by planes, all right? In the Ontario Town Square. This is where I'm at, where the fake sun remains right now. 7JTM 459, 7JXR 318, 6XTH 708, 8ZVE 256, 7KZL 796. And they're pacing. This is impunity. This is relevant. They're harassing, they're stalking, they're monitoring, and they're engaged in ongoing stalking as you document. 8XRL122, 5WSH456, 22196E3, LIZJELI. Alrighty, license plate 5WWM494. This Asian male is accessing 7KZL796. He's a part of the same harassment while the City of Ontario is group stalking in the parking lot. And I want to be clear, as I'm walking around in the parking lot, as this minion is group stalking in the parking lot, it is no more obstruction of, you dropped your post-it, minion. You dropped your little post-it, minion. You know what your note? You dropped it on the ground. License 8PUR716, 8BSL405. That's exactly what those demons are. You know, you're blocking traffic while you're walking in a parking lot, okay? That's their audible activity. This is Satan that's just mad. All right, I'm going to document that, though, because I'm going to prosecute you. It's audible activity, and you're engaging in what is a method of harassment, albeit unintelligent, but legally relevant, okay? That's the state that's harassing. And while you're stalking, let me be clear, the state is going to shut its mouth, and it's going to watch its mouth while it's monitoring you, which it has no business doing in the first place. They just spoke on behalf of the whole entity. Okay? And that's federal prison. While they also want to talk about take your meds, this is always the lies that Satan utters. This is a pattern. Okay? Like I said, no pissant third party on the street, including this pissant that's engaging in surveillance in plain sight in the parking lot in operation of his communication device. Group stalking while they want to harass together. They harass, you see the fake sun right over his car. Fake sun right over his car in operation of his communication device, stalking in plain sight. You hear the audible activity of this minion as I'm reciting it to you. 60041G3 is a part of that same entity that's harassing and group stalking. This is surveillance in the parking lot of the Ontario City Hall in direct light, okay? That's the P.O.C. And they're doing so in plain sight while they want to harass together and engage in criminal defamation. All right, license 8WCX867, 7PQR209, 7JIT124, 8NUT911. License 249P25, Nevada. And I think I read these already. For MTF122. And again, 8K87087. This is that demon-possessed third party claiming to be a Vietnam veteran. At least that's the sticker they have on their car. This is P.O.C., part of the same harassment. While these demons are out harassing in relevant position, you are a part of that same entity harassing, group stalking with the police. You're in direct light. You're under the fake sun. You're a part of that same. Let me be clear. This is federal prison for what is criminal defamation while you're monitoring. This is federal prison for what is criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department. This is criminal summoning for what is harassment and terrorism, acting with impunity while this entity is monitoring documentation and also stalking with the police. All of this is grounds of federal prison. Again, license 8K87087, and that act of harassment, this minion's engaged in surveillance. In the parking lot under the fake sun at the Senior Center / Ontario City Hall. 1DERL with the symbol of a hand on it. I documented them crossing path, entering into the parking lot upon arrival here. 7WIG756, and it is currently 8:53 a.m.
Talk to you later.
6YCN584, molesting. An Ontario Village shopping center engaged in surveillance in the parking lot. So you've got demons that are parked in the parking spots, aligning Hope Boulevard, aiming them towards the street, while the vehicle that I'm inside of is crossing path. This is how they're engaging in stalking with light and molesting, aiming light onto, again, surfaces into the vehicle, and the vehicle drives through it. This is how they're engaging in group stalking together, and it's demonic conduct, okay? This is Ontario Village, license 8EZR616. License 7BEP 928.
I should have come earlier.
8FSU43L. 8XAE351. 6KYX959. 7UKX 890. 6NPA 684. 8CGD216. Molesting. License 8XPD 588. 8YCX949. 7WIC 444. 7TEF 717, I believe. 8HCD 974. 8HBF 185. 7SKR 667. 7BCF 807. 8GEN 638, molesting. 8KDW 559. Alrighty, and while demons are sitting engaged in surveillance inside of the library all day long, they are remaining in directed light, pacing all around me. And this is what's going on while I'm inside of a vehicle. Demons that know exactly where I'm at, concentrating light in the direction of the vehicle, aiming it into the vehicle. Any method of touching is a sex offense. And again, you're prosecuting a sex offense for the predatory mindset that they maintain while they are targeting you with what is light in order to keep you under surveillance on behalf of what is, again, the entity that is doing so. That's federal prison. 8JLH039. They're also doing it with knowledge of the fact that they're being documented. That is a very demented and unstable psychopath, all right? Posing an unlawful threat to your life. Mental institution. Understand this. While I'm documenting license plate after license plate. 8GPX694. 5JPC846. 8PMX851. And they've been engaged in ongoing obsessive predatory conduct, pacing around me in directed light all day long inside of the venue that is the Ovid Family Community Library, and then following into the bathroom. Okay, that's what the entirety of an entity is represented while they are physically present inside of that private space. The entity is stalking. The entity is stalking in a bathroom. All right, so it is currently 8:32 p.m. This is P.O.C. 8VYN786. 8BHF287. 7SMB519, I believe. 6ACP755. So you have what, again, these are demons that are on the prowl. This is literally hunting. They're meeting at stop signs. They're meeting at traffic lights. This is not ordinary traffic. This is while I'm in motion in a vehicle and they are stalking in the path. That's the predator. Okay, so you're understanding this group stalking conduct. These demons that are acting in concert with one another. 8BHT917, 93196N1, 8AIT306. 7PWY176. Can you park over there? I know you want me to walk across the parking lot so everybody can hit on me with the light. License 6GLG002. It's 8:34 p.m. This is 7-Eleven at 636 North Vine Avenue. Relevant positioning, activity creation, and operation of their communication device.
329.
Oh no, I'm not done yet. Here you go. All right, and doing so with the minions that are in the parking lot aiming light. Okay, molesting with light inside of the store while I'm standing at the register. Minions group stalking in line.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good one. Do you have my receipt? Did I get it already? I need it for the food.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, that is a molestation. License 9APU280 is molesting. 8TON402 is molesting. Tracy Banks, 4WON432. She's out here monitoring one that she's blood related to with the rest of these demons. License 7GZN044 molesting. 7PW Y176, I believe, molesting. Alrighty, and I'm showing you a picture of all these demons standing in line. This is group stalking inside of a market. P.O.C. 8VIJ351.
Gosh,
And it's currently
your ice is melting.
It's currently 8:41 p.m. Alrighty, 8VIJ351 is engaged in surveillance, maintaining presence on the side of the 7-Eleven in relevant position. And this is 6619, using a commercial vehicle. This is license plate 66191T2, molesting. Okay, they're the same entity molesting while I'm inside of the 7-Eleven. This is what they were doing inside of Shiro's Liquor. This is what they're doing while I'm sitting on the bus. This is the same pattern of conduct. 8R57750. This is what they're doing while I'm inside of the vehicle, as I document in the morning, right? This is the pattern of conduct, doing so in a commercial vehicle, doing so while I'm inside of 7-Eleven. It's the ceaseless P.O.C. It's 8:43 p.m.
Other blankets here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this demon, again, just like you saw on the video, quote unquote, helping me arrange the window to cover it up. I am being touched in an impossible manner with light on my face while I am facing the back windshield. And demons in their vehicles are on G Street. Okay, this is, again, a sex offense. I'm going to prosecute Tracy Banks, but those third parties that I just documented at 7-Eleven, I'm documenting the entirety of an entity at the same time. But I just want to be clear. This is directly tethered to those third parties that I just identified seconds ago that you hear on my podcast. They are touching me while I'm in a car, and this is how you are understanding what is entirely of Satan. This is spiritual darkness, all right? This is impossible conduct. There is no way you are touching me with any sort of headlight activity at a distance while I am also looking at the back of the windshield. All right. That's where I'm concentrating my sight. This has nothing to do with what are their headlights or any sort of light that you're looking at on their vehicles. These are demons. And Tracy Banks is she is a demon that's speaking to her spiritual state, while in the flesh, she is blood related to me. It means absolutely nothing. It is no barrier. In other words, the fact that, she is engaging in what is demonic conduct, and it's also speaking to the criminal conduct that she's engaging in. And you're talking about, again, this instability that's revealed by the demon possessed who engage in this system. Entirely abnormal criminal activity done in concert with a government while they are outwardly conducting themselves as though they are doing anything but that. You saw it in video. She's helping me position the windshield last night while the Ontario Police Department are stalking by helicopter. And they fly over extraordinarily loud, amplified, audible activity at the moment that I get up to help position this back windshield. Which, by the way, Satan is aiming light through the windows still as they are covered up. This is a psychopath. She is entirely unstable. And I'm referencing Tracy Banks when I'm saying she. She is representative of the people of the state. This entity is entirely demonic. And you're engaging in this conduct while you are standing there as though you are focused on helping me position the window. You're not. You're standing in relevant position. You're in directed light. You are a demon that's waiting for those demons to fly over me by helicopter. That's what she's doing. She knows that they're about to fly over. They act in concert. All right. And this is why I document, because I want you to see Satan flying over in circles, which you see in the background in that video that I captured last night, flying in circles in the background while you see this demon up close going by the name of Tracy Banks. And you're witnessing evil. Who does that to their own child? An unstable psychopath. One that has been a threat to the life of the targeted individual before I became aware of it, before I started documenting it. This is exposed now for such a time as this, that the world may understand the ways in which you are subject to this criminal system, the ways in which your life is being threatened. You don't even know about it yet. All right. And also revealing what are the magnitude of evil as you are subject to this system. Evil is prosecuted as malice. Malice is directly relevant to how long you're going to sit in federal prison, how much of a threat you pose, and why you remain for however long a period, if not indefinitely, in a mental institution, while you are literally breaking down this system of public corruption, touching me while I'm inside of the vehicle with directed light, touching on my face. It is absolutely impossible light activity. But it's also impossible light activity while demons are pacing all around computer 11 where I'm sitting all day long. I set up that computer in the morning, and I basically sat there all day long. And you're just talking about demon after demon. They're all the same condition, and they're pacing all around me all day long in concert with one another while they are all at the same time aware of any physical move. They're literally just taking turns engaging in it and engaging in what is, like I'm calling it, It's the same method of touching with directed light. They're doing it inside, and it's the use of their shadows, okay? This is entirely demonic. It is so sick. They are unstable. They are walking around, pacing around me, and their shadows are swiping across my person or swiping across the desk. While the entity, it's not just their shadows, the entity is flashing directed light inside of that venue as well. They engage in that as well, all right? But this is chiefly what these demons are doing. They're doing it with children. They're doing it with, it doesn't matter whether they're employed. They are all hollow zombies doing the exact same thing all day long. Who does that? Satan does that. The demon possessed do this. The state of California practicing a satanic targeting system does this. And that's exactly what I've been continuously documenting. It does not matter what venue I'm at. The pattern of conduct is underway at the Ovid Family Community Library. If I'm sitting at Starbucks all day long, if I'm sitting at the Ontario Town Square all day long, if I'm sitting at where else have I've remained? If I'm remaining in my hotel room all day long, if I am remaining sitting in a vehicle all day long, I documented that January 1st, 2022. Sitting in the car. While I was living in my vehicle, 2019, documented the same thing. The Ontario International Airport flying repeatedly over my car, okay? Doing that all day, all night. A plethora of planes all day. And this is when the entity was engaging in conduct, and they thought nobody was ever going to believe me. No one was ever going to witness it. They were going to get away with it. This is documentation speaking to the psychopath, the unstable, and the absolute criminals that act with impunity. Let me be clear. The earlier the documentation, the more raw and truer that criminal conduct as I have captured it. Now, let me be clear. They're still equally psychopaths now. They are equally obsessed, fully engaged in ongoing conduct, fully communicating an unlawful threat, speaking to, communicating impunity, the impermissible threat. But I want to be clear. What I documented when I was living in my car in 2019, the entity still in my car, every morning flying over by helicopter, every morning, every afternoon, every evening flying over by helicopter, following me to and for the entity was engaging in this conduct. Understand, I am at the beginning of my documentation. So I'm capturing video, and the entity, just like it is now. I capture the Ontario Police Department literally almost every day. And I've been doing this for years, documenting them for years. Establishing precedent is what I'm doing. But the entity is, and by establishing precedent, what do I mean by that? Precedent. Because there's no coincidence. There is no just anomaly. Oh, this just happens to be this corrupt police department in this city. No, no, no. I'm establishing the precedent. This is what the entire state of California is doing. I am exposing it. It's not just Ontario. It's not just San Bernardino County. That's the significance of years of consistent documentation, which is also revealing the environment that it's occurring and speaking to the fact of spiritual darkness, if that's what you want to refer to it as. What I refer to as more people are familiar with, demonic activity, the demon possessed. These are facts. These are not conspiracy theories. This is not some religious esoteric discussion. We're not sitting around pontificating about, aspects of what. No. These are facts. These are facts. That's the significance of my years of documentation. That's what I'm doing with regard to establishing precedent. Okay. When the entity is in 2019 stalking by the Ontario International Airport, they are engaged in that ongoing stalking to date. Yes. But pay attention to that early documentation. This is the entity's attitude when they thought then that they were never going to be caught, that they were going to kidnap me for years. I would be silenced. I would be defamed. I'd be written off. That's not what's happening. But you're paying attention just as closely as you are paying attention to the documentation that I continuously capture now in 2022. What I documented, what I was pointing out, what I was speaking to, what I was describing in 2019 and 2020, the entity is engaged in the same pattern of conduct. I may have become more versed with it because I've become more familiarized with that pattern. They do it so much here. It's down to it's clinical. Okay. I could tell you exactly what they're doing. I'm even familiar with Satan's intention as they do it at the moment that they do it. But this is what I've been describing for years, and the entity engaging in what is years. And this is what I'm saying under this fact pattern. A lot of people are going to federal prison. They're not getting out. Because this is impunity. The ordinary P.O.C, you're talking about what is the design behind federal law shall be. Once you start documenting, the government better step down. They better back down. That's the design of federal law. You shall back down. You're going to. You have to. And the government knows you're documenting. That's the design. That's the design of federal law. And if you don't, so help you, you are going to sit in federal prison and you're not going to like it. And that's going to be the result. But see, I'm establishing precedent, and it is going to be no less of a just result. Just because I'm establishing precedent does not mean you get any less of a severe punishment. You have a lot of people that are going to federal. I'm talking neighborhoods, all of them, because they're all doing it. And the entity has been doing it for years. The Ontario International Airport is fully shown as a stalker and an obsessed one. Okay, this is what they were doing in 2019. As closely as you are paying attention to what I'm documenting today in 2022, you are paying very close attention to what I was documenting from day one in August of 2019, basically. Well, actually, I did document May 23rd, 2018, my apartment in Upland, California. The fake sun is over me, Officer Turner and Nakamura, I believe. But these officers, the Upland Police Department, that's the P.O.C. And I started documenting because police were following me around. Strangers are congregating around my home. I'm being harassed at my job. I'm being harassed at the quote unquote place of worship, a facilitating venue where demonic activity is underway, where the state was monitoring Sunrise Church. And every aspect of my life was being invaded upon, was being attacked. And I started documenting. And the pattern of conduct is captured on May 23rd, 2018. You pay attention. The fake sun is right over my head. All right. And I'm capturing it before I even knew all of the pattern of conduct. But I already knew something was going on, and I knew that I needed to document it. And I knew that it would come together. So like I said, you are paying just as close attention to what I'm documenting in my early days of documentation on video. Because I also want to point something else out. When the target individual like myself is documenting, bringing forth, presenting the prima facie case, which is, again, you have to have independently corroborating documentation establishing the prima facie case for federal group stalking and monitoring. The government's placing you under surveillance. You're subject to harassment, terrorism. You're going to need independently corroborating documentation. This is the case. Once you're establishing that, obviously, the entity did not just start placing you under surveillance and harassing and terrorizing you on the date that you started documenting it. Obviously, it's relevant to harms that you have suffered even before your date, your timestamp documentation, because this is what the state has been doing. So I just want to point that out. And the entity has been targeting me for years. Even my years of documentation show that. Okay, the entity didn't start monitoring me on May 23rd, 2018. They've been doing it for years. I have been targeted for years. Okay. So the entity is engaging in conduct, and it's relevant to what I experienced in the workforce. It's relevant to what I experienced in my personal life. All those who are subject to what is a very, necessarily, specifically carved out. It's necessary that it be specifically carved out. The state that is using third parties who are in your life. Understand those are the sharpest weapons by the state, and they're going to be prosecuted as such. The purpose behind federal law is to deter. Believe me, you don't want any parts of the government's prosecution for engaging in this criminal pattern of conduct. You don't want any parts of it. And that's the design of federal law. And it is necessarily that potent, necessarily that intense, necessarily so. You're dealing with what are psychopaths, obsessed stalkers, and you're witnessing it. They know they're being exposed. They know they have already lost the war. You already lost. Still molesting, still stalking, still monitoring, still doing so probative of the ways in which you're going to be shown in a federal court to be a sex offender. You're going to lose everything, including the children that you're being a sex offender with, and they're still doing it. You are necessarily using that intense federal law. That's why, because that's the level of a threat that are the demon-possessed population. They're demented, unstable psychopaths. Not being hyperbolic, you are witnessing it through the pattern of conduct. Nobody in their right mind, knowing that they are going to sit in federal court, and you are going to sit in federal court, would engage in that conduct when you know. Okay, let's imagine a police department that's not corrupt. You know the police are around the corner, they're about to arrest you. Who in their right mind would rob that house that's right there before you get to the corner? Where are you running? The police are right there, they're waiting for you. They already know what you're doing. Who in their right mind would do that? Who does that? Somebody that's not stable. And you got a population of unstable people demonstrating that ongoing obsession to target someone. This is group stalking. Federal law necessarily is that intense and serves that specific purpose to deter. Okay? And you're doing so because it's the targeted individual, American citizens, who have a right to that. You are going to protect the person. You're going to protect their mind. You're going to protect their reputation, their right to their your basic human rights. You're protecting every aspect of the American citizen that has a right to not be subject to it. All right. And so anyway, it's currently 9:01 p.m. and I just want to document the entity is engaging in this molesting my face with direct light. I'm looking at the back windshield. Okay. And this is what they're doing at 7-Eleven. Those third parties that I just read their license plates, they're still engaging in the P.O.C. Satan does not learn. And they're a part of the same P.O.C. All right. But again, I'm documenting the entity, all of the state at the same time because it's group stalking. It's the state of California acting through all of the people of the state, and they're all going to be prosecuted for it. But I just want to be clear. Even as I look to the back of the vehicle, Satan is aiming directed light on the roof in the back of the car. Impossible light activity. You are going to address Satan and its minions through naming them. All right. This is not anonymous criminal conduct. I have a whole pool of defendants who are going to be prosecuted for that terrorism. Okay, who engages in that when the authorities are around the corner and they're about to arrest you? Somebody that's unstable who belongs in a mental institution. Somebody who is a very violent criminal who belongs in federal prison. Absolute disregard for the law. That disregard is going to be acknowledged in your federal prosecution. All right. And as I speak, these demons, one by one, engage in ongoing obsessive stalking, because that's what that is. They live in relevant position. They're stalking by plane and helicopter, and they are engaged in ongoing demonic pacing. Okay. And that's what they are doing all day long. It's 24 hours ceaseless surveillance. It's currently 9:03 p.m. It is, again, Tuesday, July 19, 2022. And this is P.O.C. All right, I am documenting, again, you're looking at impossible light activity as I'm walking adjacent to the senior center where these demons come out engaging in what is harassment. You're looking at what is blue tinted directed light. This is serving for what is an ongoing molestation, a method of touching with light even while you're in the shade. I'm taking a picture of what's above the building. The fake sun is not visible, all right? This is the entity that's creating light that's appearing in an inexplicable manner, an impossible manner. It's also impossible because this is not the natural environment. That would not actually be the sun, but that's also directed light. You're looking at my shadow that's in front of me, and you're looking at what is the full area of shade all around on the side. This is where this so-called Vietnam vet who's group stalking in a vehicle, engaging in demonic conduct, harassment, and terrorism as a demon-possessed actor is engaging in. You work here? Do you? No, I don't. Do you work here, Minion? Because I'm going to go get your name. All right. This is good. Alice? Okay, and she's the one driving 1DER with the symbol hand. And this is where this directed light is present. She's engaging in what is criminal defamation. This demon's walking outside, pacing, going to their vehicle and walking back. This is the one, take my meds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, that's criminal defamation.
And you're not allowed in
this is P.O.C. Hi, is this an employee you have here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, she's engaged in harassment, which I know you were a part of. You were standing outside. You facilitate this sort of treatment?
I have to actually leave. You have to be 50 years old to be in this.
Yeah, I'm talking about the harassment that I have a right to not be subject to.
Okay.
Do you want to address that?
She's not harassing you.
Are you an employee here?
I am an employee here.
Okay, well, do you want to get somebody that can address it with me then, since you don't want to?
You're hitting our van. You're harassing.
Hitting your van?
Yes, the van that you hit. Is
What
a
van?
city
I hit with what?
With your hand.
Okay, now you're making up stuff.
Okay.
When did I
You're
hit your
gonna have to
van?
leave.
When did I hit your
You're gonna have to
van?
leave.
This is why I document Minion. She's lying. When did I hit your van?
You're gonna have to leave.
What's your name?
You're gonna have.
Yeah,
to
sure. I'll
leave.
get your. What's your name first?
My name's Tracy Davis.
Tracy Davis. Thank you. And what's your name?
And my name is Tracy
Did you witness me
Davis.
hit the van too?
I did not witness anything, but you are underage.
But I saw. No, I understand. I'm not here trying to partake in your activities here. I'm documenting what is harassment by somebody you have here as an employee. Okay, and she doesn't want to address that, and she's making false allegations that's legally relevant. Do you want to give me your name?
She is not obligated to do so.
She's not do so, but she's making out false allegations?
She is not making any allegations.
She just did, so maybe you might want to
She is
correct her.
inviting
You might want to correct her.
To leave.
All right, that's fine. You guys are monitoring as well too, right? That's P.O.C. Alrighty, while this minion is pacing back and forth, and you are going to federal prison. That's unfortunate. That's P.O.C.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what?
You're being recorded every moment.
This is great. I'm going to use it against you. That's wonderful. You're engaged in criminal conduct. I'm going to use your surveillance cameras to prosecute you. And those are false allegations, honey. Alrighty, that's legally relevant while you're engaged in the appeal. So thank you, Ms. Tracy Davis. All right, thank you. Yeah, Tracy Davis. That's P.O.C. Tracy Davis. This is the, they were all outside. This is the pack of minions. And she stated, this African-American female with the bad weave in her hair, she's talking about, I hit their van. What are you even talking? I hit their van with my, anyway, and she refrains to provide her name. This demon, 1DERL, they're in directed light. They are under the fake sun. They're stalking with the Ontario airport that's flying over by planes, stalking with light activity, 8XNT939, refraining from answering simple question as to whether this is an employee, what is your name, trying to remove me from the facility when I'm asking about an employee who's clearly engaged in hostility and harassment. Of course, demons don't want to address that. I wanted to go inside and get those names. The large Caucasian female is identifying herself as Tracy, and she's stating that she's not witnessing me hitting a van, which has nothing to do with what is blocking traffic, which is what the third party stated initially. You know, you're blocking traffic while I'm walking around in a parking lot. Everybody is trying to get to their cars, but I'm an obstruction to traffic because I'm documenting. These are minions that are monitoring, and this demon is pacing, walking outside. This is the bald-headed old minion that is pacing in directed light inside of that senior center. Again, Ontario Senior Center is located at 225 East B Street in Ontario, California. Having no interest, nor desire, nor need. These are minions that know that they're being documented, making false allegations, anything to try to distract away from. While she said, I hit the City of Ontario's vehicle. I hit their van. I guess I hit their van when I was taking her picture. I guess I hit the van of City of Ontario when I was walking away. And I'm documenting how they were following me. She didn't move until I started walking away, and I was never obstructing her path. I want to be clear, 8XNT939 is engaged in facilitation, demonic conduct, monitoring with the entity under the fake sun, while they're making false allegations. Gotcha. Alrighty, this is while they're engaged in the P.O.C. These are the demon-possessed. This is the conduct of Satan. This is the nonsense. This is the messy conduct that they engage in. And I'll see you soon. While they're engaging in that harassment, this is the pattern of conduct that's underway at the City of Ontario. This is where the fake sun is over me. This is where I'm being molested with impossible light activity. It is the P.O.C. And again, this African-American female, 1DERL with the symbol hand. She's walking outside of the venue. This is a method of pacing while this demon knows where I'm at. They're monitoring while I'm inside, walking on the side of the building, showing you what's my shadow in front and what would be no shadow because I'm walking in the shade behind me. And I'm showing you what is the fake sun that's on the side of the over as I continue walking. This is the environment. All right. This is the environment while the City of Ontario is group stalking. This meaning that's inside of the vehicle representing the municipality where I supposedly engaged in hitting their vehicle. This is literally what Satan engages in. They just make it up. All right, so you're listening to me challenge. Oh, you want to make this up? I want you to think quick, Satan. I hit your car. Really, I did. When did I do that? And at what point did I do that? Nobody else witnessed it. Tracy didn't witness it, but Tracy was standing right there outside. And this minion who's engaging in raising her voice, talking about I'm blocking traffic. At what point did I hit the vehicle when I'm nowhere near that vehicle? That Latina female who's group stalking in a vehicle attributed to the municipality is behind me. I'm at no point, and I don't even have to point this out. What I want you to understand is what you've already shown. These are the same demons that engage in kidnapping, stating that you're molesting children, stating that you're stalking people in the bathroom. When you're documenting, making it up. This is what Satan does. This is why it's very severe federal law. And I've already documented this. They're doing it in the specific environment. This is what demons do. These are demons that have no business working in a court system, being on the bench, being in police departments, being in sheriff's departments, literally working even as flying pilots, as I'm showing you the threat that they are to the public. You have demon-possessed people that are stalking people in airplanes. That's what the Ontario International Airport is doing. All right, you're talking about what are the ways in which the demon-possessed population, as I'm documenting, they are engaged in all manner of what is a conduct that is a threat. While you are mad because I'm documenting you, not only do you lose, you still lose. I'm going to document and I'm going to prosecute you for every lie that you're uttering. This is the state of California that is using, in the same way that this is Satan, that is using those minions engaged in the P.O.C. Understand this. This is both demonic activity, a bunch of demons surrounding me that are lying. Their lies, however, understand, is audible activity while they're in relevant position in the specific environment. They are group stalking while they are documented engaging in the P.O.C. There is no reconciling what is directed light that I'm being molested by, and then you're waging false allegations. This is Satan. Understand that. That's why I wanted to go back and get that and get those names of those minions who are monitoring harassment and terrorism occurring in a parking lot. And then walking in to document, I want to get this minion's name. Oh, we just need you to leave because you don't want me to document your name. You have a right to not be subject to harassment. So I'm going to go back and get that demon's name. And thankfully, she's accessing the vehicle that she was stalking with. That's the license plate. And she is pacing while she walks to that vehicle. She's group stalking while she's walking. They're not getting in. You walk to your vehicle. You use your light activity, your little alarm to unlock the doors. That's light activity and you walk back to that demon is pacing while they know I'm approaching the door. They know that I took pictures of the impossible light activity on the side of the venue. They know that I'm coming toward the entrance. So you're pacing, you're still monitoring after engaging in what is harassment, and you're engaging in what is harassment inside of the venue. All right. And so I'm documenting. Then you're engaging what is waging a false allegation. That's a federal crime. Understand that. It's audible activity. So let me be clear. While the entity is monitoring, the entity is the state of California. What you are treating as defamation, understand with regard to what is defamation, everything that is said about you, everything that you say, it's all subject to surveillance. So in other words, it's being recorded, it's being published in real time. Everything that a third party is stating under the P.O.C. while it's underway is already defamation. Excuse me, not everything is defamation, but everything that they are saying with regard to your character, with regard to your mental state, stating something that is supposed to suggest some sort of mental illness, saying it outright, saying you're talking about suggesting it, doing it expressly defaming you or impliedly defaming you. It is already published. Everything that they say, you're already talking about, all you're going to do is document because it's the state of California that's defaming you. That's group stalking. Understand that. Also, waging a false allegation. This is the state that's waging a false allegation while you are uttering an irrelevant position as a group stalker. You're in the specific environment, honey. You're being documented. That is the P.O.C. That's a federal charge while she's stating, I hit the vehicle of the, which is literally it is inconsequential. It is absolutely idiotic. It's an absolute outright failed attempt to try to distract. You just want to turn my head the other way. What? I hit the car, and then you're supposed to be distracted by that. I hit the car. Why did that? No, that's not going to happen. Oh, I hit the car. Okay, really? Did you see that? At what point did I actually hit the car? Tracy, did you see me hit the car? Because all of those demons were outside together. And what am I doing? I'm not asking any question with an answer. Excuse me. I'm not asking any questions that I don't know the answer to. I'm going to use all of their conflicting audible activity against them, and they're all monitoring. They're all monitoring. That's a federal charge. Criminal assertion of false allegations. The state is monitoring. This is how you're going to use everything that Satan says. Satan's going to watch its mouth. Satan's going to watch what it says. And Satan is also going to be very careful of what it's saying while Satan is stalking you through the state. And this is necessarily how you're treating essentially everything that's being subject to surveillance. So yeah, what you're saying is legally relevant. What third parties and the state are saying, whether they're outside, some pissant third party saying it, some state actor on the street, some, in other words, some police officer or fire department or whoever, some county employee or a city employee. I'm speaking to the state acting directly. That is defaming you versus some third party versus some state actor in a court defaming you, some sheriff's department defaming you, some police officer defaming you. It's already subject to surveillance. It's a federal charge. Understand that. This is how this is working. You're not talking about publishing with regard to ordinarily where surveillance is not underway. You're at work and somebody's subject. You don't even have to be at work. Say you're online and somebody is publishing something in writing, which would be libel on the internet about your character or something defamatory. This is being published where it has to be published to some other person. And clearly identifying you, if you understand what civil defamation is. That's not what this is. This is serving, first of all, the criminal pattern of conduct. The state always wants to falsely defame you as suffering some mental incapacity. This is the lie of Satan. This is a pattern. This is literally the language of all of the demons. They all mimic the same conduct, and it's defamation. It's criminal defamation. It is literally the script of the demon possessed. Okay, and not only that, it is audible activity that's occurring in relevant position while they're group stalking. This is the state that is stating it, because this is a group stalker vicariously present. This is the state that is stating that you need to take your meds. This is the state that is engaging in surveillance. This is audible activity that's automatically being published in real time. Everything that's occurring around you is a matter of public information. Everything. You don't have any privacy in the bathroom. That's why you're prosecuting the sex offender that's stalking you, surveilling you in the bathroom. Everything that third parties and state actors are saying at any venue, well, you're subject to the ceaseless P.O.C. That's a federal charge for false allegations. That's a federal charge for criminal defamation. And that is a federal charge shared by the entity. But those specific third parties, they're documented, and they are going to federal prison. While she's dancing in directed light, celebrating now, I want to be clear that that's a very fearful demon. This is how Satan's personality is. They're dancing around as though they're celebrating something, and they're actually terrified. And you are terrified because that's why you're walking outside, crowding around me, trying to make up a reason as to what I just heavily documented your little demon-possessed counterpart engaging in. Stalking in the municipality's vehicle, Southwest Airlines flying directly over my head at the same time, fake sun, and the directed light, which is around in the environment as well. She's an operational for communication device. I just literally heavily documented this minion. And then you have a pack of them that join behind me in the parking lot, harassing under anything. So what do they come up with? Oh, you're blocking traffic in a parking lot, really? So everybody that's going, walking around looking for their cars, blocking traffic, and I wasn't even blocking this minion's vehicle. She's clearly stalking, period. All right. So these are minions that are scared. You walk out and you're engaging in what is retaliatory conduct. This is to your own demise. You're not retaliating against anything. You're facing more federal charges and you will be sitting in federal prison. All right. And everybody else is going to be prosecuted for that's going on. In other words, that's going on everybody's criminal record as well. The fact that you're engaging in what is waging false allegations as a group stalker. A group stalker is a violent sex offender. A group stalker is engaging in terrorism with the state. This is going on your criminal record. While you're engaging in what is defaming one whom you are targeting with a government. This is going on your criminal record. All right. And it's going to impact jobs that you can get, industries that you will no longer ever be able to work in. And this is necessary as a matter of justice while you're going to prosecute the people of the state. That's what the city of Ontario is engaging in. I captured those demons. I captured their images. And that is another pathetic tactic that the entity heavily engages in. And that's exactly why I walked back. I'm going to remind you about the directed light before I walk back into that venue and go get those minions' names. And that's what I wanted to get. And thankfully, demons are always true to form. So she walks right up to her vehicle. That was her specific license plate that I read while she was group stalking as I was approaching the intersection of B Street and Plum. All right, I read that demon's license plate, and she's pacing, walking right to that vehicle. And you're not just going to prosecute her for that audible activity. That's the city of Ontario. She's wearing a city of Ontario shirt, and I'm going to prosecute the municipality for that. All right, but that one in particular, yeah, she's going to sit in federal prison for that. She can dance in directed light in federal prison, all right, while she's engaged in criminal defamation on behalf of the state. She's engaged in what is harassment and intimidation by an entity engaged in federal stalking. This is literally what this is. And you also have what is the city of Ontario, as you're listening to this other minion with the bad weave hanging off. She's got a rat tail on the back of her head, and she's waging a false allegation. That's a federal charge. The entity engages in what is criminal assertion of false allegations. These are all the tactics of the entity placing you under surveillance. And there is necessarily a federal response to what is this pattern of conduct by the demon-possessed population that's monitoring you. It is currently 9:10 a.m. This is P.O.C. Are the demon-possessed who belong in a mental institution. I want to make sure that you can hear me. I had headphones in. Let me repeat myself. This is the Ontario Police Department group stalking, flying in a circle, demonstrating their instability in directed light. Headlights do not reach up to the top of a house. There's not even a vehicle that's driving down the street. And by the way, their headlights are not going to be touching on a house over here. That's directed light. Those are demons of the Ontario Police Department. Stalking me in the bathroom at Ovid Family Community Library. All right, stalking while I am remaining inside of the library all day long. This is the P.O.C. underway all day long. Stalking inside of a 7-Eleven where they're molesting with light, and this is demonic. These are puppets of Satan. They're revealing how unstable they are while they are stalking somebody who is publishing it, exposing it to the whole world. Engaging in this conduct is what shall result in what is placing you into a mental institution. This is not anonymous criminal activity. Let me be clear, every single last person affiliated with the Ontario Police Department, I'm showing you what is the criminal system that they're engaging on behalf of the state. Demons, all right, this is demonic conduct. This is the demon-possessed population. And they are still engaging in the P.O.C. while you're looking at this environment. All right, this directed light across 325 West G Street is the documentation of 325 West G Street, a facilitating venue who are monitoring group stalking where they live with the Ontario Police Department. They are literally flying in a circle, okay? That's demonic. It is 9:30 p.m. and they've been engaging in this. I just wanted to capture this video to show you the significance of the people of the state, and this is who they are stalking with. It's an impermissible threat. The people of the state that are driving by are showing an impermissible threat. They are stalking in real time while you're documenting it. That's federal prison. Understand that. It's an impermissible threat. Everything that these demons are doing has legal relevance. This is the Ontario Police Department that's engaging in ongoing ceaseless stalking all night long, 24-hour surveillance, flying over this vehicle that I'm inside of all night long. Just want to capture this video because this is what they're doing on an ongoing basis. This is an entity that's using helicopters to engage in terrorism. They're using police vehicles stalking on the roads and the highways with the people of the state. All right, this is corruption exposed. This is demonic conduct, which is prosecuted as terrorism. This is the conduct that shall result in being placed in mental institutions. I've documented many of the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department, and this is what's wrong with them. They're stalking. Alrighty, it is, again, the 9:31 p.m. While they are continuously flying in a circle, they are revealing the fact that they are openly stalking someone. They will be prosecuted and they will be sitting in federal prison. This is P.O.C.